Welcome live here on Checkered Flag Interactive here tonight. It's Steve Bonesteel with the whole crew up here in the booth as we get ready to go racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. And it is a beautiful day to go racing here, 79 degrees. Plenty of grip down on the track here with the updated surfaces and all that great stuff. These guys are set and ready to go at it here as this is round number 5 of their season. And the drivers are down onto the grid, so I'm going to turn it over to Tanner and Cody to run down the starting lineup.
Thanks, Steve. Starting on the pole tonight here in Talladega is number 69 truck of Dominique DeBall. Second place, Mitchell Reaves, Hugo Linder, Cleverson Pereira, sorry if I got the names wrong, will start fourth, and rounding out the top 5, William Hale.
Starting in 6th will be Matthew Welsenbach. Starting in 7th will be Steve Ritter. Starting in 8th will be Michael Damico. Starting 9th will be Anthony DeBarro, and rounding out the top 10 will be Rick Donathan.
Outside the top 10 in the starting order is Mike Rominger, sitting in the 11th position. Joel Wood is in the 12th place. Nate Trato, Christopher Herlo, Jason Swan, Nathan Shiflett, Wyatt Wolf, Zachary Creaser, Doug Blackman, and Calvin Pilarski, rounding out the top 20.
Starting 21st is Paige Spink. Starting 22nd, Gerald Common. Starting 23rd, Stephen Price. Justin Michael starting at 24th. 25th, Donald Hing. 26th, Brian Eckstein. And then 27th, Brian Ray.
And I believe the rest of the cars in the field who did not post on a qualifying lap, so they were in a bit deep in the field. Starting 28th, number 42, Jeffrey Creek. Starting in 29th is number 61, Jason Stout. Starting 30th, Matt Clifton in the number 20 truck. Sean Zulu starting 31st. And rounding out the field, David W. Gibson in the number 3 truck.
And then here tonight, we're going to get a chance to talk to a couple of drivers. Keep your eyes out for our in-race reporter later on in the race. We'll talk to him and get things set up here with him, depending on how things go. We've got just over 60 laps of green flag racing possible here tonight at this place, and it's going to be interesting to see if these guys can get some long green flag runs, how the dynamic track surfaces will affect the super speedway, if at all, and how these drivers are going to go at it here. Just about 30 guys down here, as a lot of these drivers really are the best unknown racers here on the service. You don't always see them over in the official racing, but when it comes down to things over in leagues and hosted, these guys, they're top-notch quality, and you're going to be able to tell when you see these guys go green here. As the pace car, that Ford First Mustang, as it's got that repaint on it, he's going to pull it down pit road. They're very abrupt. Through the grass he goes as we wait for the green flag to be flown here at Talladega. Looks like the leader is away. Dominique DeBall not wasting any time, shifting up into the gears here. Green flag is out, 64 laps on the board. Speed up, heading down the back straightaway here, quickly down to almost a single file line, aside from a couple of drivers here. Tanner, taking a look at how this is shaping up, what do you think we're going to have to watch out for?
Well, of course, here at the restrictor plates super speedways is the big one. You never know when it's going to happen. It can happen on lap 1. It can happen anytime during the course of the race. So when they're side by side and they're racing real hard, just got to watch out for that big one. Some drivers may fall back to the rear just to avoid it, and some drivers may get to the front as quickly as possible to be ahead of it.
And first lap is complete, and it's going to be Mitchell Reaves leading that first lap, followed by William Hale in that Vortex Racing machine, hard on his rear end. Then Hugo Linder is coming up on that high side there, taking a lot of trucks with him. We'll head up into the aerial coverage, take a look at this from above.
Yeah, just everybody just seems like they're pacing themselves right now. A lot of 2x2 action throughout the track here. It's got some guys on. You got some guys trying to get that high lane working, in which, in my opinion, is probably going to be the best line if towards the end of the race if you're trying to get to the front of the racetrack, because you know the leader's going to try to guard that yellow line because no driver can pass underneath it. You result in the black flag, of course, on the super speedways. As right now we have a battle for the lead.
And quite the battle it is, boys, as we're coming up off of turn 2 here, getting close to about 200 miles per hour, about 195 in these trucks here, as it is a cooler Talladega day, but it is beautiful nonetheless as we head down double file down the backstretch.
Yeah, I am not really seeing any really aggressive moves at this point of the race, and I'm not really expecting any, but towards, oh, here's an aggressive move, the, trying to get the car number, Dominique DeBall, I believe it is, went up to block the outside lane, now he's back down to the inside lane to, protect the lead there. Oh, I'm sorry, the 02 truck. That is, or the 22 truck, excuse me. Donald King.
As we've got about 15 trucks right on top of each other.
Yeah, just got on the radio saying that someone was blinking. I couldn't make out who it was, but you certainly don't want that at a restrictor plate track at all. But right now we're seeing a lot of 2x2 racing, not a whole lot going on. Some guys, like I said before, a lot of these guys seem like they're just pacing themselves at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to watch most of the field really pace themselves here, get this race kicked off. There are a lot of things that are going to change. Green flag pit stops will change the complexity of the field if we do have them, and you can only expect the drivers as good as these guys over here that we will. So they're going to feel everything out that they need to here early on, figure out where their trucks feel good, who they need to work with, and what they need to do to be fast. And I think after the second round of pit stops, if we get 2 green flag rounds, that's when we're going to see the drivers really separate themselves from the rest of the field.
Yeah, I think the pit stops is going to be the biggest key. Right now, it's just everyone's in a big pack. They're just pacing themselves. But yeah, when them pit stops come, they might split up in all kinds of packs throughout the racetrack, and it's definitely going to split up the field. But if everybody doesn't have any mistakes on pit road, like speeding down pit road or even missing your pit box, you know, that's just costly mistakes in these superstars.
And I'd also like to welcome our Super Speedway and Analysis Pro, pretty much, Cody, up here with us. How you doing, Cody? What do you think we're going to see here as this race goes on?
So I'd like to thank you for having me tonight, Steve. I'd kind of like to see how these cars react now to the dynamic tracks and see how it changes the factors of tire wear and how many pit stops we'll see tonight.
Pit stops are going to be, like I said, probably the most important part of this race if we stay green. And then if we don't stay green, it's going to be avoiding whatever caused us to go back under caution here. So as these drivers figure out their lines, a lot of shifting in lines. It's mainly the same faces up towards the front. I'll check the top 5 here. Top 5 as they run. We've got the 76 still in front there, just barely hanging on. It's almost a dead heat coming across the line every single time, but now Mike Rominger on that number 31 machine, he's moved up to that top spot on the inside here. We've got a driver up the wall in the back of that pack there, 3 wide as well.
Yeah, I was paying more attention towards the front of the pack, but it could have been the 61 truck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was kind of looking towards the back. It looked like a few trucks had kind of touched there and it sent one up into the wall.
Yeah, the slightest contact here at Dega, I mean, you got to remember, you're literally at times you're inches from another driver's door, about a foot to 2 foot minimum most of the time. And right now it's still early, so you're giving a little bit of room. you're not really trying to force it down there as much as you have to. You know, grab that side draft more and more as the race goes on, but right now you're trying to leave a little bit of wiggle room. But eventually that wiggle room pretty much goes to nothing. Taking a little bit of a look further back through the field, we've got drivers like Jason L. Swan. He's a little bit further back in his number 18 machine. He's just kind of running. It looks like a lot of these drivers that have fallen off from that lead pack, it looks like their plan isn't necessarily to fall back and be forgotten about, but they want to stay out of trouble, boys, and that's exactly what you need to do, I do believe. That's always my strategy, and to be quite honest, I find myself in victory lane a lot on these super speedways simply because you just got to play it like a game of chess. You really do.
Yeah, you really have to play it. You know, it is any restrictor plate racetrack like Daytona and Talladega. It is a chess game, and it's just more. It's guessing every single time. And the driver I'm really surprised seeing that's way in the back is Anthony DeBarro, who won the last 4 out of the 5 races this season so far. But I'm still going to keep an eye on him. He's my guy to watch from this race that I've been keeping an eye on throughout the practice sessions, and including this race. I'm going to see if he can try to get himself out front. Right now, he's about 32 seconds away from the lead pack, and he's losing time each lap, even though he's pushing the number 10 car of Jared Camus. But we'll have to see how this all unfolds.
Now, Cody, as you watch these drivers in their pack, what do you think are some of the things that they're doing that, you know, really demonstrates, you know, the adaptivity of, you know, being here early on in the race? We see a couple of drivers, you know, changing lines, but for the majority of the field, they're sticking to wherever they need to be, keeping it quiet, not moving too much around because they know it's early on. What do you think they're doing that's going to preserve this field?
Well, I think right now all they're doing is trying to get their trucks all in one piece, and they'll probably go at it with, I'd say, with 15 to 20 laps to go whenever they'll start beating and banging around the super speedway here.
Taking a look out of the front of the number 56 of Wyatt Wolf. I mean, you can see here, coming right up on another driver's back bumper, giving him the shove here, trying to leave a little bit of space, not to shove him up into the driver in front of him, but all of these guys just right on top of each other if something happens at the front of this field. Oh boy, it's going to be an ugly one.
Yeah, you really want to be careful on the pushing and shoving here, especially through the corners. Just accidentally take that left rear quarter panel of that driver and you're going to send him spinning. It's just going to cause a big one.
And Cody and Tanner had talked about it. DeBarro, Anthony there, has won quite a few of the last races, 4 out of the 5, I do believe he said. And it shows right now in the point standings, 25 points over the second place driver. So that right there, I mean, Talladega is a lottery race. Anything can happen. And that means that points leader could finish dead last, and the person who's really far behind could finish up towards that top 3, even get the win. And the point standings can change greatly here now.
Yeah, we've seen it time and time again with point standings in different leagues of drivers coming in here with points leads and either wrecked out or playing in the back. I mean, I kind of hope Anthony DeBarro is staying in the back, be safe throughout the race. Maybe he'll be able to bail at the end of the race.
Definitely not a bad call. Just to hang back and just kind of draft with you know, who you can or who you decide to partner up with, you know, because right now, according to the times here, I'm looking at they're about 37 seconds behind from that lead pack. So if they end up wrecking that lead pack, I mean, they could finish well in top 10 tonight.
And we just saw a big squiggle out of the 0-2 of Mitchell Reaves. You can see he's actually got a little bit of rear damage if it comes back in focus there. Looks like he got a little bit of contact there coming up off that corner, and it almost hooked him around. That 0-2 machine could have been in a lot of trouble, along with all of those drivers right there behind him.
Oh wow, yeah, he's got a lot of, or I shouldn't say a lot, but definitely got rear damage, and it's definitely gonna make the truck behind him, which is the '84 truck of William Hale, to push him, because that it's not gonna line up very good if he's pushing him in that rear end of the truck, since it's already damaged just a little bit. It's gonna make it harder to push.
Sorry to cut you off, but we just had a huge pass for that leave. Michael D'Amico there in that number 62, pulling up on the high side. Barometer trying to fight back on the inside. Over you, Cody.
Back to what you guys were saying about the O2 truck. I noticed in this league that they have fast repairs. What would be the good status? Would you, you were the 02, would you use the fast repair to get that nose fixed, or what would you do in that case?
Well, I'll chime in first here, and then toss it over to Tanner. If it were me, I would keep it as is, because that minimal amount of damage right now, it might affect the driver behind you for the time being, but you know you're going to come down pit road a couple of times here, as that number 25 of Doug Blackman is making all the big moves. But continuing on, you know you got to come down pit road at least twice more in this race. Just hold out until you know that you can safely use it and not have to worry about it. You know, hold on for the damage. It's not really slowing you down. Stick in the traffic and just wait until later.
Yeah, I completely agree. As long as it's not slowing me down and I'm not losing the draft at all, I mean, I would just use that fast repair for later, like if I'm in a big accident or a blown engine or something like that. But right now, he's sitting there calmly, third row in line on the bottom side. As long as he's staying with the lead pack as he is right now, he'll be all right.
Laps are quickly clicking off here. We're on to lap 17 of 64. These drivers still right on top of each other. Pit stop still about 15 laps as well. So there's plenty of things that these drivers are starting to think about. Where they want to be in the field. Do you want to be on the inside line? Do you want to be around? How are you going to make pit stops work? Who's going to come down with you? All of these things you need to think about. And it's so important to do here at Talladega, Daytona, because if you go down wrong, you're going to find yourself in trouble big time. And if you get disconnected when you come down pit road, you're going to be in a lot of trouble as well. So a lot of things going on in the minds of the drivers right now.
Most definitely. I think we should be hearing some radio communication later down in the next maybe 10 laps, see if who's going to partner up with who to go down that pit road. And just cannot make any mistakes when it comes to restricted play racing. Watch when you get down the pit road. Your pace speeds, I believe, is 60 miles an hour here at Talladega. So coming from 190 to 60 miles an hour is a very hard thing to do.
We've had a few drivers that are separated up from the field still. They're right on the tail end of being pretty much left behind. Zachary Kreiser's in that mix. Nathan Shiflett, Justin Michael, he's up there in the points. Sean Zulu, Jason Stout. Jason Stout was way separated with partner Brian Ray. They are 25 seconds back. These guys are looking at right there. They're only about 2 seconds back from that lead pack, as things are still pretty crazy up there.
Yeah, I'd say as long as they stay single file, they should be okay to catch the lead pack. But if they keep mixing it up, I see the 88 on the very high side of 21 truck outside there. But as long as they try to keep single file and stick together, they should be okay. Right now they're in no harm, no foul when it comes to the big one, but as long as they stay single file, they should be okay to catch that lead pack.
As we go 3 wide once again, these drivers trying to shuffle around. It's still that number 31 out in front, that outside line trying to fight back, just not being able to make any significant headway. We're coming now 20 laps into this race. We're going to take a quick hot second, head off to a CFI side-by-side commercial break. We'll be back here in just a few moments here at Talladega Super Speedway for the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Truck Series.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Bigger cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
Huge wreck.
Yeah, we're back here live after just tuning in on the tail end of a huge wreck here at Talladega on lap number 24. We'll pull up a replay, take a look at what happened. Down the back straightaway, up on the outside wall, people getting collected. Trying to miss the wreck, people are getting collected. I didn't quite catch what happened up at the front, if one of you two did.
Yeah, the number 4 truck was pushing the number 17 of Page Splink, and I think he hit him a little bit too hard, and it got him sideways, and he ended up clipping his right rear quarter panel and spun him on the backstretch.
Oh yeah, we'll head up in the blip. You see it right there, and wow.
Then some guys are spinning to avoid the wreck.
That 17 machine, nowhere to go. Absolutely nothing to do there.
Yeah, restricted plate racing, you always, when you're trying to bump draft somebody, you don't want to push somebody too hard because the guy, oh, we're spinning down pit road also. Number 7 truck.
Yeah, that's Christopher Hurlow there. He did make it into his stall, so he'll be okay.
But yes, as I was saying before, if you get pushed too hard at Talladega, it causes the car to can get really loose and wiggle so much to where the guy behind you that's pushing you could clip one of the rear quarter panels and spin you right around.
Am I still in the room with you?
Well, we're hopping on board with Doug Blackman here, driver to 25. We saw him making some huge moves on that outside line. How you doing, Doug? Doug, it's Steve Bonesteel up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
We've been watching you up here making some huge moves on that outside line. What's the racing like out there right now?
It's a little wild. This new build with the dynamic tracks really is making this truck handle different. But that high side, you can side draft to get up there with everybody, but the problem is you stall out. So I don't know if that's that dynamic track thing coming into effect or not, since this is my first official race running the dynamic tracks.
Well, after surviving that first big wreck of the night, what do you think you've got to do to make it to victory lane here tonight, or at least survive this race?
Well, obviously getting to the front is the key. Trying to get up with my partner up there, but he's up a few trucks ahead of me, so he's kind of been locked in that spot there because it's kind of like highway driving at the moment. But had some connection issues earlier, so I had to drop to the back and get that resolved. But I think I can get back up there and give a good show. I feel comfortable the way this aero package is handling, because you can really draft like you normally could back in the day before iRacing changed things up.
All right, Doug. Well, thanks for coming up here and talking to you, talking to us. We wish you the best of luck as we get ready to go back green. I do believe we're 2 to green.
Roger that. Thanks for dragging me up.
Damico, in the number 62 truck, now leading the race after all the pit stops. William Hale, Mike Rominger, Christopher Hurlow, Mitchell Reaves, and which rounds out the top 5. And Christopher Hurlow, he spun on pit road and still came out 4th.
So now we're approaching halfway through this event. What do you guys think up here in the booth? That, you know, we've seen the race start to shake out a little bit. We've had some. Do you think this is going to continue here, or do you think things might die down for a little bit before we get towards the tail end of this race?
Boy, that's a tough call on whether it's gonna die down or racing might come up, but I don't know. I think that I think some guys may take it easy just for a little bit, but as this run goes on, I think some guys are going to try to get a little racy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Since this is restrictor plate racing, the engines may be restricted, but the racing isn't.
Whenever they'll start picking up the pace a little bit.
So far here tonight, we have had 11 lead changes between 5 different drivers up at the front of the field, and I can expect by the time this is all said and done, we'll have close to about 25 to 30 lead changes, and I'm just really excited to see how this one works out, as these drivers are really good. There's still one more pit stop if we do stay green, so that's going to play a little bit into interest as well. Will we see another caution? Will we see the big one that we almost always see in a place like Talladega? Only time may tell here, but the Ford First Mustang pace car lights are off, so I'm going to turn it back up to you guys for the restart.
As the pace car comes down pit road here in just a few seconds, the Ford Mustang drops down, and I believe it may go through the grass again. As here we go, Michael Damico will take the inside lane. Green flag is out, and we are back racing here in Talladega.
On this restart, once the trucks got back to green, the whole pack is staying single file except for the front two trucks on the right side of the 62 truck, the 84 and 7. They formed their little group here, and the rest of it is a train for positions. I'd say 1 to 10 back through there.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. It looks like the entire pack is just spread out just a little bit, but it might come back into one big pack as this run progresses. We'll have to see how this all unfolds. I really thought the 84 and the 7 were really going to get the race lead there for a minute with that two-car tandem racing, but they just haven't been able to get up there quite yet. Still trying, though.
Talked to Blackman there under caution. He did say, that driver, the number 25, that side draft is prevalent here today. So it's not like you're stuck out there on your own. You have to rely on solely a partner. Position that truck just right. You might even be able to make something happen on your own, at least pick up some positions here. So as the field is very spread out, as we widen the camera angle there coming up off the corner, things are going to change here at Talladega, and I do think things might just be dying down, but just as I say that, we go three wide for that top spot, almost 4 wide. Oh boy.
Tell you what, that number 17 all the way back to, I believe, the number 4 truck who was in that last caution. They have caught the lead pack, and oh boy, I think we're almost 3 wide there, and we are 3 wide up towards the front. That's the 02 car and the 17 car on the very high lane. 3 wide action here.
Yeah, the field really fanning out at the front of the field here. Then number 31, as Rominger there, stuck in the middle, nowhere to go. And then down on the inside, Damico there. That number 62, he's working on it. Christopher Gurlo, the number 7, he's going to go around on pit road. He's up on the high side there, 3 wide. Doug Blackman looking into the mix as well. Here comes the 77, Lindner, trying to get back into the mix. Just as I say, things might be dying down. We are back to action pack here, as we are now halfway through this race.
Yeah, that number 7 truck, he actually got spun out by the 33 truck on pit road, and he restarted 4th place on that last restart, and he's already up in 2nd place, fighting for the lead here. We're pushing the 84 to the lead. Oh boy.
Wow.
That 31 got a little squirrely. They're getting squirrely. Here's a big one.
Looks like the 77 and 62 were involved in that one. The 62 didn't really get a lot of damage from it, maybe just a little fender damage that should be able to be fixed on pit road after that wreck.
There's quite a few of other drivers that got involved as well. Now, of course, they do have the fast repairs, so some of these drivers might be okay, but we'll have to take another look and see what happened there. We'll focus in on Lindner here. That 77, all that inside line just comes up. Maybe a little bit of that connection issue Doug Blackman had earlier involved there. We'll have to take a look. Let's go from above and take a look at what things look like from the aerial coverage.
Boy, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm looking at this right, the 62 truck, I think he caught the left side tires on the apron of the racetrack, and the truck just snapped loose a little bit, got a little squirrely, and he ended up washing up the racetrack into the 25 and created a big wreck here.
Yep, that's exactly what happened as we hopped up into the blimp, taking a look at it. Just gets down on that inside line, and damico there just... It's so tough with that dynamic track surface, and the rubber buildup happens down on the apron here. That's where it all falls down to. So you get those tires down there, you pick up that rubber, and you're loose. You can't get back up. The little bit of a transition on the banking is already enough to get you squirrely, let alone having slippery rubber as well.
Yeah, I'm rewatching the replay here. It looked like the 31 actually came down to 62 a little bit, kind of forcing the 62 below the yellow line onto the apron of the racetrack to get him a little squirrely. But yeah, like you said, with that dynamic track, ever since iRacing released their dynamic tracks, it has changed the complexion of racing on iRacing.
And with that complexity changing comes just so many different aspects to the iRacing event. Either way, we're under caution here at the halfway point for the ExtremeMotorsports99.com Truck Series. We'll meet these guys tomorrow for the Xfinity Series in Texas.